What's up, guys? It's Ticker Taper Tyler. I'm your host, Tyler Lewis, and I am here with the amazing coach of UNC Charlotte. Please introduce yourself.
I am Karen Weatherington, head coach, Charlotte 49er volleyball.
Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing time with me today. Many guys don't know, but she's an outstanding coach. Like I mentioned, we're gonna start off a couple of accomplishments that she's made over the years, starting off with Atlantic Sun Coach of the Year, also two-time MEAC Outstanding Coach, and recently 2021 Conference USA Coach of the Year, which is a big time deal. So just hats off to you for that.
Thank you.
Of course. We're just gonna get started off with a couple of questions. What does the volleyball training look like in off season and and in season?
Wow. Oh man, we're go mostly all year long. The only time we really have a break is April and May or May and June, I should say, after finals is over. Volleyball has become a year-round sport. In the fall, our team starts out with a morning lift about 7, 6, sometimes 6 or 7 o'clock. And then they're off to class, and then they're back in the gym about 2 o'clock for lifting and more conditioning and stretching and recovery and individual work. And then we practice about 3 hours from 3 to 6 p.m. And that's in our regular season training. We practice 4 days a week and travel Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday on alternate weeks. And then some days we have evening post-game classwork or post-game study work or post-practice study stuff. So it's a full-time job with a couple hours carved in for practice. In the spring, we shift our schedule to the mornings. So we train in the mornings to give our players an opportunity to experience other things on campus, maybe take classes late in the afternoon and do labs. And we go on about a 2 hour schedule every day with the lift about 4 days a week. So it's a busy time that really is nonstop. We have some things called dead periods and quiet periods, which you probably know a little bit about. All the sports have been built in. So there's a couple weeks in there during finals, during the holiday break over the Christmas and New Year's break that we're not allowed to do any training. Post-conference tournament. So if we make it to the conference tournament, which we have qualified for every year since I've been here, except one, we have a time where we are not able to train, and it's about a week called like a moratorium or a rest period. So I would say out of the 52 weeks a year, our players are in the gym, probably about 40 of them for sure.
I mean, that's rigorous for sure. You have to be mentally and physically strong. I would say
For
that.
sure.
So
Mhm.
hats off to all the volleyball players out there. As your head coach, you have staff underneath you, but how do you approach the recruitment process, and what qualities do you look for while recruiting players?
We definitely look for physicality. I have a staff of 4 coaches that are kind of, boots on the ground, where we really spend a lot of time evaluating video and watching players, following the trends and the communication that they talk a lot about volleyball. There's a lot of coverage for volleyball for high school, but we rarely recruit out of high school. We recruit out of a club system that's over a couple 100,000 girls. Volleyball is the highest participation sport right now in the country for women. And on par with the popularity of women's basketball, obviously they have that model where they're spending more time or you're seeing more time with them publicly on TV. But volleyball has really moved into this high participation area, particularly in high school age women. So we go to what they call club tournaments that happen over the weekends in the big city markets. So we've traveled everywhere from Philadelphia to Los Angeles to Seattle, Washington to Arizona. The biggest tournament in the country is actually happens in Atlanta, called the Big South Tournament, and that happens in April. And there's also some in Orlando, Florida, that host some really big tournaments. So the way recruiting looks is we kind of just really put our brand out there and our motto, looking for players that are sizable. Right now, at the level that we compete, you'd have to be pretty good to be a front row attacker. So 6 feet plus, touching over 10 feet. We look for all those physical aspects, players that can play 6 rotations, that understand the game. And off the court, we look for just kind of their character and behavior, how competitive they are, how communicative they are on the court. Of course, before all that starts, we really look into what they're doing academically and get
Mhm.
an idea of their transcripts and grades and talk to their coaches. So we really have to do a deep dive into who our players are. We called it investigative reporting. And then we go to these weekend tournaments that have between 100 and 150 courts, all in a big convention center, and break it down by age group and look at the age group that we're looking at right now. We're looking at that class of 2026 and 2027, which is sophomores and rising juniors. So it's cycled really fast. So we really just try to look at the potential of a player and if they can play at a high level long term.
Okay, that's good. I know you mentioned how you guys look for, people playing in clubs. I've had a couple of friends I know just from being in high school that played a club called like CJV here in
Mhm.
Charlotte. So yeah, I know they're doing big things. And you also
Yep.
mentioned about what you look for in certain positions. Whether it's the height, and what they can do on the court. So can you tell us how you balance, focusing on individual skills versus team dynamics?
Yeah, we really look for individual skill because at our level, Division 1, we're in the top half of Division 1. So that's limits you already to the top 200, 150 teams in the country. So you really have to already have that base of skill before we get a chance to see that you can move on to the next evaluation step for us. Doesn't eliminate someone who probably hasn't played the game for a long time because sometimes athletic potential can outweigh something. For example, right now, we have a freshman that's 6'4" as an outside hitter, and so we were very fortunate to build a great connection and see her play early. But she didn't play in a very big club, so we just really get out there and try to look for that base skill that they have some knowledge and understanding of a game, that they can serve well, that they can pass, or if they're a setter, that they're pretty consistent in leading their team. And then those intangibles are really told by your high school coach and your club coach, where they give you a really good perspective on, say, how important it is that this person is a good student or a good human or
Yeah.
good in their community activities. Those things are very, very important. So we talk a lot to high school coaches about reaching out to those players and looking at their transcripts when they're in their junior year, to see what their activities are as well. I know volleyball takes up most, if not all, of the young players' times that are playing at that club level.
Mhm.
But we still like to see other players that do things like, I know we have some in Girl Scouts. We have some that have done, a YMCA, Big Brother, Big Sister, something that kind of says that they want to be a part of a bigger community.
Yeah, that's wonderful to know. In most sports, you watch film or whatnot to study the opponent you're going against. How do you develop game strategies and also make adjustments during a match?
Wow, that's a great question. Before the match, we develop a scout as well. We have a program called Volleymetrics that is a
Okay.
worldwide volleyball, web-based volleyball scouting performance program. And so you pay for a license in Volleymetrics, and it gives you access to all volleyball of all Division 1 and most Division 2 that record their teams. So we're able to see teams play, the teams that we compete against, really early on, as well as watch other teams and pick up their strategies. Volleyball is a game of statistics, and in my 30 plus years of coaching, I probably do just a lot of study of the game. So before you called me, I had the Olympics on again, watching the strategy of some coaches, but we really break it down by coming up with offensive plays for ourselves, and how to score against another team's defense. And then we look at their defense and their offense and what they're going to do to us and try to do some predictors of what we can do to counter. But most important thing about volleyball now is point scoring. So we have outside hitters and they call them pins, and at the high level of the game, pins win. So you really try to come up with a strategy that involves your middles, to hold open those spots, and then you try to come up with strategies and plays to be able to swing at the ball and put it on the court. It sounds really complicated, but it can be very simplistic in that you just take that round thing and you try to get it on the floor. But we have a lot of electronic and digital modalities that help you in volleyball now. There's some AI stuff called ball time, and the game is very sports science based. So we have vertex that we attach to our players to measure their jump and practice every day. So we marry all of those things in to really find our strengths and play on those, as opposed to kind of being overly consumed with what the other side is going to do. So volumetrics is what keeps us going. We are very good, always solid defensive teams. But as the sport has grown, we really want to get an offensive strategy that gives us an opportunity to point score. And that's what we look at most in volumetrics, is finding out how we can set up a scout to make us offensively successful.
Okay. AI is for sure making its mark on the world every day,
For sure.
different aspects. So for the upcoming season, I've been to a couple volleyball games myself. Just like what would be your pitch to get, students and fans to come out to the games? Because they're exciting from my perspective.
Yeah. Our goal this season is to sell out the lower bowl in
Okay.
Halton Arena. So we're trying to fill the bowl. That's about 2,400 seats. But I think the thing that it different from years past, one, we're in a new conference. This is our second year. Last year was like a test run for us. We had an idea what to expect, but we had a lot of just off the court kind of challenges that kept us from making a big clean shift and big impact. So this year, I think our roster is very strong. We have a very strong freshman class and some really great transfers that are going to come in and impact. And we're able to play the game fast. And that's going to be one of the most exciting things. The women in our program are very athletic and tall, and they're able to play the game at a very high level. So it's going to be a great thing to come in and see us just execute a game that's fast and exciting, that you can be involved in every play, and that you can be a part of what's going on. We're trying to seat closer to the arena floor to have our student section, the gold mine, and some new players that maybe haven't followed volleyball as close to come in. And I think once you get in the door, you're going to be hooked. So we're trying to get everybody to come and watch us early.
Mhm.
We start off August 24th with a scrimmage against Emory and Henry, which is a Division II school from Virginia, but it's kind of a game that gives us a chance to do an open scrimmage and even introduce new fans to volleyball. And we're also hoping to play off the fact that it was an Olympic year and our women are going into the USA women are in the round of 8 and going for a
Yep.
gold medal. So that usually puts some excitement behind volleyball. But more than anything, that we just have some incredible players on our team that are just fun to watch and great people and smart and really involved in the community and campus. And we're just coming in here and we're going to win some ball games.
That's what's up. I like that. So you guys heard Coach Weatherington herself show out to one of the games this year. It'd be great to see. Um, how do you establish and maintain a positive team culture?
That is the main question. We work on culture every day. This summer and last spring, we did a program through Dr. Brene Brown called Dare to Lead. And we really just we rekindled our culture. I've always had a great culture of team and players that are here for the program, are here to represent the university well. But we really had to build on a lot of pieces of communication, open lines of dialogue. So I kind of went on a listening tour after our past season when we graduated a bunch, so we could use and build and plant seeds in the spring that we wanted to see bloom in the fall. And so we've seen that happen, but team culture is an everyday, all the time, on court, off the court messaging system of building trust. And so that's important for us as women on our staff and within our team to just really communicate well to build trust. And from there, you can almost build anything. Once you trust the person who's got your back and that you're in the fight with them, we remind ourselves that this is a very small opportunity in a very small window. I've been coaching for so many years, and every time you have a new group, you have a new team. So our theme for this year is one time, one team. Every time we get an opportunity, you just have that one opportunity to make the best. So we want to trust ourselves, trust our teammates, trust our confidence and our talent. Like we're very, very talented. And so we work on that in the gym, in training, to build a culture of discipline, a culture of hard work and good work ethic. And we work about off court of building a culture of good communication and connection and trust. And it's just like talking to each other in very honest conversations, to have systems where you can confront things that are not what you want to see from your teammates and your coaches, a system of accountability, And those are things we just put out front. Sometimes it's about talk, sometimes it's about action. But we're consistently trying to be that one time and that one team to be there for each other and build a family atmosphere that says, hey, this is going to get tough sometimes. Let's trust each other. And we've seen a lot of growth that we carried over into preseason, which starts this week. And yeah, it's been a long summer of 6 weeks of putting that into action with all of our players. And we're excited to watch it prosper for us in the fall.
I love that. Culture, I believe that's, one of the foundations, of a winning team. So
Mm.
that's what's up.
Absolutely. Spot on.
Um,
You are spot on, sir.
thank you. We're gonna do something I call ticker tape questions, quick
Okay.
questions for people, the viewers, to know a little bit about you. So we're gonna start off with morning person or night owl.
Oh, both? Is that fair?
Oh,
I'm a
hey, that's fine.
I'm a 6 o'clock in the morning, but I do like turn into a pumpkin about 11:30. So I'm gonna call it like I'll say morning person. More
Okay.
productive in the morning.
Favorite food.
Green chili enchiladas.
Okay, that's different.
I know. I love Mexican food. I went to Mexico, so
Okay.
I love Mexican food. So that is my favorite. Don't get it all the time, and don't get to eat it all the time, but that's
Mhm.
my favorite.
Favorite holiday.
Christmas,
Okay.
birth of Christ. Yes, amen.
In honor of the Olympics, who's your go athlete?
My go-to athlete, Haley Washington, middle blocker from on the Team USA, but also from Colorado Springs, which is my hometown. So we watched her grow up, and she went to Penn State, like my daughter. So she's a Nittany Lion, and we're a Nittany Lion family. And she's just one of the most enthusiastic and fun players to watch play volleyball.
Interesting. And lastly, if you weren't a volleyball coach, what would be your profession?
I would be a meteorologist.
Okay.
I
I
don't know
like that
why.
answer.
And I'd either do it here in Charlotte, because you never know what the weather's going to be, or I do it in
True.
San Diego, California, because it never changes.
I love that. So, Coach, thank you for sharing time with me today, and good luck for the season.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.